it feels that people are quick to turn their back on Trump and just walk away from the tough decisions, from the tough calls. Because right now, Trump going up against Iran, so many supporters are just walking away from him. It makes you think, thank God Trump is strong and he understands the name of the game. And that's what they do. They walk away, but you got to stay steady, stay firm, and press forward. By the way, my name is Noel, here at Rebel on Life. Giving you guys my opinion. Letting you know that this may not be the time to walk away from Trump. How about stay quiet? The man said to give him 4 to 5 weeks and that he's doing his best to clear the evil people out of Iran. And yes, there may be other reasons why he's doing this. It's not just for the safety of the Iranian people. But come on, we got to admit it, man. There's some bad people in Iran. And the only reason we don't know about them because people are not doing the research. Who got time to do research? Trump obviously done the research and he's doing his best to clear out all the bad people over there, all the terrorists that need to be cleared. Let's take a look at this report from Maria Bartiromo talking about it. At least she seems to be one of the people who hasn't walked away from Trump yet, at least in the media or in podcasting. Let's take a look.
Welcome back. Israel launching a new wave of strikes across Iran after Tehran struck a U.S. base in Qatar last night. Fox News chief foreign correspondent Trey Yingst on the ground in Tel Aviv right now. Trey.
Maria, good morning. The Israelis are continuing their air campaign against Iran, striking a series of targets this morning across the capital of Tehran. We're also learning from the Israeli Air Force that one of their F-35s shot down an Iranian jet, a significant development, and they say the first dogfight takedown for the Israeli Air Force since the 1980s. As all of this is taking place, there are new conversations about who will lead Iran in the future. The front runner right now, Mujtaba Khamenei, the son of the killed Ayatollah who was taken out over the weekend in an Israeli strike. We do understand that he has deep ties in the security apparatus.
Taken out over the weekend. Yo, Trump is just taking people out left and right, letting them know he's going to clear out all the evil people.
In Iran. Now, President Trump was asked about this yesterday. Here's what he had to say about new leadership.
The worst case would be we do this and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person. Right? Most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, you know, we had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group. They may be dead also, based on reports. So I guess you have a third wave coming in. Pretty soon we're not going to know anybody.
In the neighboring country of Iraq, in Najaf, the birthplace of Iran's former Ayatollah, there was a symbolic funeral procession held today as people chanted against the United States and in support of the regime. One of those demonstrators speaking out about the conflict, saying this.
It is a symbolic funeral, which we consider a condemnation of the forces of tyranny, imperialism, and the Americans, so that they can see, even if you kill him, he remains in our hearts and our conscience. This funeral is a thorn in their eyes.
As the Israelis look east, they're also looking north. The Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah firing more rockets and drones over the border overnight, and the Israelis striking back in the heart of Beirut, hitting the Dakhya neighborhood, a Hezbollah stronghold. We also understand new evacuation orders have been issued for civilians in southern Lebanon to move north of the Litani River, an indication the IDF may expand their ground operations. Maria?
All right, Trey, stay safe. Thanks very much. Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Joining us now with more is former diplomat and military officer and Hudson Institute senior fellow, Joel Rayburn. Joel, thanks very much for weighing in. Give us your assessment here.
Well, I think, Maria, in terms of the military confrontation between the Iranian regime and the U.S. and Israel, the outcome is a foregone conclusion. The Iranian regime just doesn't have the military means to continue this kind of resistance for very long. You can see that the volume of ballistic missiles that they're able to launch successfully is diminishing. They still have a fairly robust drone capability, but that's not enough to tip the strategic balance. I think the question now in the coming days is how long it will take to eliminate their ability to disrupt the Strait of Hormuz so that commercial shipping, the energy supplies can exit the Gulf safely. But in the larger sense, Maria, when the Iranians are in an impossible position, when the enemy Air Force is controlling the airspace of your capital and really anywhere else in Iran that it wants to go, it's strategically game over. I don't mean to make light of the damage that the Iranian missiles and drones are doing in Israel or to our service members and so on. But if we zoom out from it and just look at it militarily, analytically, this is not a fair fight.
No, I mean, obviously, the U.S. and Israel have degraded in a significant way Iran's ability. But what about China, the China factor, in terms of its support for Iran? Does that replenish? And what about now the son of the deceased Ayatollah is set to become the successor to his father as the new supreme leader of Iran? Yesterday, the Israeli Air Force reportedly bombed the building where the deliberations were happening among the assembly of experts to find the successor for the Ayatollah. And the president further defended the ongoing strikes with Israel at the White House. Here's the president yesterday. Watch this.
You know, I wonder how good the American surveillance system is, that they're actually making use of it, uncovering where all these people are, and just taking them out as soon as they get together to talk. The president not even giving them a chance, finally making use of the military.
Negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack if we didn't do it. Based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first, and I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand, but Israel was ready and we were ready, and we've had a very, very powerful impact because virtually everything they have has been knocked out now. If we don't stop them, or if we didn't stop them, or if we didn't start, they've been.
So all the military getting taken out. Their bullets are being wasted. Their ships are being erased. Man, talk about strategic.
Decimated. But if we didn't do what we're doing right now, you would have had a nuclear war and they would have taken out many countries.
Joel, do you agree with that? And also, what about my earlier question about China's support for Iran?
Well, let me talk to your question about the son of the supreme leader and what that means. Okay. If they actually do elect him as the next supreme leader. I mean, that's just doubling down on an already doomed strategy. And I think if there's a new team of Iranian leaders that attempts to continue to resist and doesn't capitulate to the demands that President Trump and the U.S. are making, they're not going to be very survivable. They may not be there by the end of the week. Let's be honest. Again, when the enemy air force is over your capital, you're not going to be running a state. You're not going to be mounting a coherent defense. China, look, already this is a strategic setback for China. Under Ali Khamenei in Iran, they had a key ally in this coalition of Russia, China, Iran that was essentially revisionist and destabilizing the region around it.
Absolutely,
Iran was a key ally. A key ally for Putin in Ukraine. It was supplying the drones and missiles that have been devastating Ukrainian cities. For Xi Jinping, the Iranian regime was a key energy supplier, and he was able to purchase that oil at a deep discount, and he's going to have to go look to replace that energy supply now. So it's a strategic setback for China, for sure.
For sure. And the U.S. Central Command reporting that the U.S. struck over 1,700 targets just in the first 72 hours of the operation, Joel.
Yeah, look, in putting on my former hat as a former CENTCOM officer, if I were sitting in Tampa or in some other command center monitoring the progress of the campaign, I'd say we're way ahead of schedule. The decimation of the Iranian leadership, really the diminishing of their ability to strike with ballistic missiles.
You know what? At this point, I just hope that it does finish in 4 to 5 weeks. And when I say finish, I mean all the bad guys are taken out. And Trump could just back off and say, let them figure it out. Let them choose a leader. Let them be. And he'll walk away when all the bad people are gone. And people have a little bit more freedom. I mean, that's what Trump is saying. But that's what he's selling to the people.
And they have no aircraft that can challenge either Israeli or U.S. aircraft. Their aircraft are all from the Shah's era or from the Soviet era, so they can't mount an air challenge. That means that for the next week, 2 weeks, the U.S. and Israel can just strike targets at their leisure. I think, what does that mean strategically? It means it's a regime that's just not going to be able to resist. At some point, probably not too distant, they're going to have to capitulate to the conditions that President Trump has laid down for them.
Well,
There's just no choice.
I want to get your take on what a post-Khomeini Iran looks like. I mean, they're talking about his son in charge here, as we just talked about. But what about Pahlavi? He's been the face of the opposition for a long time. He's joined me several times. And just this last Sunday, when we talked about Khomeini being dead, he offered his plan for a temporary couple of years. Watch this.
In this campaign is this time something not just to set back the Iranian nuclear program or anything like that. This is like full decapitation of the regime, and ultimately what will expedite its total collapse. As soon as the transition plan is put into gear, we want to make sure that we address the issue immediately, to make sure that we have the ability to have a stable process, to obviously lead to ultimately a democratic outcome, so the Iranian people get to choose their future government and system. We have the most diverse coalition of people dedicated to that process, representing different parts of the country, including religious minorities, ethnic groups that are all aligned in this national project that we have. From the time that we start until the day we can have the final referendum, I anticipate a period that should not be longer than a couple of years.
This guy's a prince that hasn't lived there like in over 40 years, running things or talking from the United States where it's safe. I don't know, man.
At the most, but what's critical is the first 100 days to immediately stabilize the country.
Joel, it's questionable whether or not the people of Iran want to go back to, I don't know, what could be a monarchy. I mean, Reza Pahlavi saying all the right things. He wants the people to elect, and that would be an incredible moment where we see Iranians actually choose their next leader. It doesn't look like he's got the support of the White House. Your thoughts?
Well, I think President Trump, in addition to the military objectives he's laid down, which are very clear, which is that an Iranian regime at the end of this cannot have the ability to lash out at the region and the world around it by projecting destabilizing power. Very clear military objectives. The political end state, the president is somebody who likes to keep his options open. He likes to maintain strategic ambiguity, but he has said that it's his inclination to support the Iranian people to be able to weigh in on their own political future, that they would be able to seize control of their own government and chart their own destiny. And whether that would be, it would then be up for them to decide whether they want to go back to some form of government that they had in the past, or whether they want to have a democratic transition and so on. You can see that President Trump is very sympathetic to that.
Absolutely. That's what he wants. I think that's what we all want to see. Freedom and a free election would be incredible after all of this time. Joel, thank you.
A free election, they keep talking about that, but the guy's a prince. Shouldn't he just get the position when he goes back to Iran based on the fact that he's a prince? I don't know, man. It's going to be crazy. And one of the questions that I got as a regular American citizen is how is it that we were able to take out that Iranian leader? Because
it's roughly 6 a.m. in Israel. A series of fighter jets takes off, armed with long-range, high-precision missiles. According to CIA and Israeli intelligence, a significant portion of Iran's leadership has gathered here, in a compound in Tehran. Among them, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the country's supreme leader. 2 hours and 5 minutes after the jets took off, Israeli missiles strike the compound.
wow.
This is how the Israeli and US attacks on Iran unfolded, how the country's leader was killed, and what has happened since.
شهد شعیب گوارای شهادت را نوشیدم و به ملکوت اعلی پیوستم.
By the time
You know, they talk a lot about how great the American military is. And right now, Trump gets to use it and really show off how much we know and how much we can do. Crazy.
this video is published, new details might have emerged. The US, Israel, and Iran have a long history of tensions. Until 1979, Iran was an authoritarian monarchy ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. He was supported by the US. When his regime was overthrown in the Iranian Revolution, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini took control of the country and founded the Islamic Republic. He was determined to transform Iran into a country ruled by Islamic law. Khomeini abandoned the former Shah's pro-Western stance. The US and its close ally Israel were declared sworn enemies. Especially the opposition of Israel became a strategic and ideological goal. Ruhollah Khomeini died in 1989 and was succeeded by Ali Khamenei, a cleric who quickly rose through the ranks and had become a key figure in the religious leadership of the country. Over time, Iran, Israel, and the US repeatedly engaged in conflicts. Sanctions were imposed onto Iran. Iran became a key financier of anti-Israeli militias in the region. In 2002, it was uncovered that Iran was enriching uranium at 2 secret locations. The enriched uranium could be used for nuclear reactors or nuclear weapons, a fear the US and its allies had had for a while already. Iran has repeatedly denied its alleged pursuit of nukes. The US and Israel ran many attempts to stop the nuclear program. Through cyber attacks, the assassination of key scientists, and especially in the US's case through diplomacy. In 2015, the Obama administration and the Iranian regime agreed to a nuclear deal.
This is a good day because once again, we're seeing what's possible with strong American diplomacy. Under the nuclear deal that we, our allies and partners, reached with Iran last year, Iran will not get its hands on a nuclear bomb.
However, in 2018, President Trump pulled out of the deal.
The fact is, this was a horrible one-sided deal that should have never, ever been made.
There you go.
Ever since, relations have tensed up. In 2025, in the midst of new negotiations, Israel and the US launched a series of airstrikes on Iran using bunker buster bombs. 3 Iranian nuclear sites were heavily damaged. In the same year, Iran plummeted further into an economic crisis. The currency crashed, food prices soared, people grew frustrated. By the end of 2025, mass demonstrations erupted across the country. Peaceful protesters and rioters called for the end of the Islamic Republic. Trump called for an uprising of the Iranian people against their government, saying help is on its way. But the regime brutally cracked down on the protests. It shut down the internet across the country. For days, little to no news made it out. In the end, thousands of people were killed. 50,000 reportedly got arrested. The US began to build up troops in the region, with Trump repeatedly threatening Iran. On Thursday, February 26, there was a last-ditch diplomatic effort between the 2 countries in Geneva. To no avail. Saturday, February 28, around 9:40 a.m. in Tehran, Iran's capital. This government compound is not far from Hur Square. It reportedly houses offices of the Iranian presidency, Iran's National Security Council, and the Supreme Leader. Since 2025, the US has apparently gained specific insights how Ayatollah Khamenei and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps communicate and move while under pressure. Reportedly, the CIA has tracked Khamenei for months. They've mapped his whereabouts and studied his patterns. They're confident he's here today, and they learned of a meeting of top Iranian officials on site. The US and Israel...
You know, it's one thing to talk about it. It was another thing to take action and do something about all the information we gathered. So this is crazy.
Originally intended to strike at night under the cover of darkness. But they reportedly moved their time of attack. This opportunity was too good to miss. Suddenly, Israeli missiles hit their buildings. During impact, several national security officials are in one of them. Supreme Leader Khamenei reportedly in another. Afterwards, satellite imagery shows heavy damage to the buildings. Black smoke is rising. Geo-confirmed footage recorded here also shows...
You know, bunker busters are crazy because that means if you go into the bunker or the basement to hide, the bomb still gets you. That's crazy.
Massive amounts of smoke in the area of the compound. A picture taken here too. Ali Hosseini Khamenei died in the attack. Also killed Sayyid Abdurrahim Mousavi, Chief of Staff of Iran's Armed Forces. Ali Shamkhani, Head of the National Defense Council. Muhammad Pakpour, Commander-in-Chief of the IRGC. Aziz Nazerzadeh, Defense Minister. According to Israeli news, a total of 30 senior Iranian officials were killed in just half a minute in the opening strike.
Ooh.
The operation was dubbed Roaring Lion in Israel and Epic Fury in the US. It has been planned for months. Masoud Pezeshkian, president of Iran, however, survived. Ali Larijani, secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, vowed Iran would fight back and assured continuity of governance. The strike on the government compound was just one part of the operation. Afterwards, Israel reportedly take out Iran's air defenses, especially around Tehran. In a third wave, Israel deploys roughly 200 fighter jets, bringing much of its air force into Iran. The goal is reportedly to destroy as many Iranian missiles as possible, as fast as possible. The US reportedly joins in about 30 minutes after the attack on Iran's leadership. According to the New York Times, their attacks focus primarily on targets in eastern Iran, far away from Israel. They also attacked the Iranian fleet. Reportedly, US warships fired Tomahawk cruise missiles at Iranian targets. American ground forces use artillery rocket systems. Several military and command centers in Tehran are hit by Israeli airstrikes. Further explosions are reported in Iranian cities across the country. Trump releases a video officially announcing the military operation and urges the Iranian people to take over their government.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
Netanyahu later does the same.
נבטיח את נצח ישראל.
Shortly after their announcement, an airstrike hits the Sarayeh Tayyibi Elementary Girls' School in Minab, Hormozgan province. Iranian state media and officials claim that at least 175 people got killed, most of them likely children. These numbers have not yet been confirmed independently. According to the New York Times, the school is adjacent to an Iranian naval base. US Central Command announced an investigation into the strike. Iran launches Operation True Promise 4 and the retaliatory strikes begin. Countless missiles are fired at dozens of sites across the Middle East. More than 200 missiles are launched at Israel alone. In solidarity with Iran, the Houthis in Yemen announced that they will resume attacking shipping lanes in the Red Sea. This effectively ends a 3.5-month pause following the 2025 Gaza ceasefire. The US-led coalition reportedly intercepts several drones and missiles heading towards Erbil in the Kurdistan region of Iraq with no casualties. Multiple news outlets later report explosions near Erbil International Airport where US soldiers are stationed. That afternoon, Dubai International Airport is hit with an Iranian drone, striking Terminal 3 and effectively closing UAE airspace. Several luxury hotels like the Burj Al Arab and Fairmont de Palm are set on fire. It's unclear whether this was the result of a direct attack or if the fires were caused by debris from intercepted missiles. But the UAE isn't the only country targeted by Iran. In Bahrain, missile and drone attacks hit the US Navy 5th Fleet headquarters. Footage shows what appears to be an Iranian Shahed drone striking a tower block roughly 20 minutes from the facility. In Qatar, the Ministry of Interior reports 66 ballistic missiles were fired at the country. The debris reportedly injured at least 8 people. In Saudi Arabia, the Prince Sultan Air Base is targeted by ballistic missiles, which are reportedly successfully intercepted. In Jordan, the military reports that it has intercepted and downed 49 drones and ballistic missiles, likely headed for the major US military bases across the country. In Kuwait, Iranian drones strike 2 passenger terminals of the Kuwait International Airport. In Syria, debris from an Iranian missile kills at least 4 civilians while injuring several others. Both Qatar and Saudi Arabia announced that they reserve the right to respond. The Arab League condemns Iran's attacks. Following the blanket strikes by Iran, NATO senior command said its missile defense systems in Europe and its early warning radar in Turkey are on alert. Some experts warn that Iran may activate sleeper cells in Europe and North America. There are many more events and details we can't cover in this video, as the attacks continue back and forth. So let's zoom out a bit. The US's involvement in the attacks is controversial. On Truth Social, Trump said this:
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world.
It's an argument for a war of necessity. An attack was looming across the sea, so the US had to strike preemptively. But it's unclear how Iran's activities directly endangered the United States. Iran was apparently years away from obtaining a nuclear weapon, according to the US's own intelligence. The country's ballistic missile arsenal is estimated to reach no more than 3,000 kilometers, a threat to neighboring countries, but not to the US. Iran might have been attacked because it was in a uniquely weak position, as a type of preventive measure. This might make this a war of choice, not one of necessity.
These preventive wars are often condemned internationally, not only because they're optional, because if every nation went out to strike adversaries who they thought were temporarily weak, we would live in a world of constant war.
According to international law, a war of choice would be illegal. There are also discussions whether the attack was in violation of the US Constitution. Trump started the war without congressional approval. Across the US and parts of the world, protests erupted, partly against the Iranian regime, partly against American involvement in the war. Oil prices have risen sharply. Experts warn of an impending global energy crisis because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. In Iran, people celebrate the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. Others are grieving. At this point, it remains unclear who will succeed him. For now, the regime formed a provisional government. It seems set on revenge and continues to strike Israeli and US bases. The exact number of deaths is hard to determine at this point. According to the US military, so far 3 American soldiers have been killed, with 5 seriously injured. According to Al Jazeera, 10 people have been killed in Israel, 3 in the UAE, 1 in Bahrain, 1 in Kuwait, 13 in Lebanon, and 2 in Iraq. The Iranian Red Crescent has reported that since the attacks, at least 555 people have been killed, with hundreds injured. According to the Times of Israel, these numbers do not differentiate between military and civilians. The situation is likely to escalate further in the upcoming days. Timely reporting like this is incredibly resource-intensive. It's only possible thanks to today's sponsor, Hansen Shaving. We're grateful they're supporting our...
People dying is the worst case scenario. All right? It's sad. At the same time, it's making the war look bad. It's making Trump look bad. So hopefully the dying stops and we get better at fighting. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to see anybody dying. All right, let's take a look at another video. Why do they hate Iran? Look at this video. I guess it's the narrative. Whoever they want to paint as the bad guy, that's what they do. All right. We're going to leave it there. I always wonder why we hate Iran. Why are they the bad guy? And what are we doing? Why are we fighting them? I think there's a basic question that Americans have. In any case, if you're still watching, give it a thumbs up. My name is Noel here. Just giving you guys my opinion as to what's going on with the latest, especially in the war in Iran. Stunning girl exposes blue face. Baby Trump and Billie Eilish. No one is illegal. That's funny. Billie Eilish and Donald Trump.
Before I accept this, I just want to acknowledge the land we're standing on.
Wrong. Totally wrong. Nobody talks about stolen land better than me, okay? I built on stolen land, tremendous stolen land, the best stolen land.
I'm talking about history and...
History? Billy, you've got a massive mansion, beautiful mansion on stolen land, very expensive stolen land.
That's not...
You live on it, you sing on it, you cash checks on it. Stolen land pays very well, apparently. Interesting, very interesting.
Before I accept this, I just want to acknowledge...
that sounds like Trump. The man lives in stolen land. All right. With that said, anyway, I hope you got to this channel. Welcome. My name is Noel. Here, battling MS at Verbal on Life. Just trying to enjoy my day. Woke up, made it downstairs, and now checking out the latest news. Because ultimately, what Trump is doing, he's losing a lot of people. A lot of people are walking away from Trump because of the war, right? It was the last thing that's supposed to happen. But yeah, he's pushing forward and taking out everybody in Iran. All right. Odechi's up and making it out here. You know, I always say what we need is more and more people putting their thoughts out there, putting their ideas out there, and letting it know that, for example, I support Trump. A lot of people are going up against him now because of the war, but ultimately, he knows he's doing what he's supposed to. Hola, Veg, how you doing? Enchufa el teléfono tuyo para que se cargue. All right, she's up. Modest person. Just quietly. Let me see how I make long AI animation. Oh, look, a video. Or I'm trying to get my AI animation going so I could promote my videos and maybe get more voices out there. My goal in life is to create this podcast to talk because I can. Oh, look at this AI animation.
Where are you going to? Sit down now.
Babe, perfect timing. Can you send me like 80?
No. What you can do is give me back everything I spent on you.
See, I'm not saying no. I'm saying later. But if you send the 80, I can carry it.
You're not asking for money. You're asking for access.
Why are you acting like this?
Because you treat my wallet like a subscription. 300, food, 220. Maybe I'll pay you back 17 times. I am tired. No more money. Get out of my house now. See this guy. Is the audacity for me. Nonsense.
Of AI animation story videos are blowing up on social media right now. And if you look closely at the accounts winning in this space, they are pulling in millions of views with stories that are honestly ridiculously easy to create. The real secret? The voice. You can now use any accent you want, yes, even Nigerian English, just like in the video, and make it sound so natural. Let me show you how.
I think the best voice is your own. Put your thoughts and ideas out there and just talk. And you only get better at it, all right? Hopefully become much, much better. Just putting my voice out there, messaging out there without any fear. Now that I am retired, I feel free. I don't have to worry about no job, getting fired, getting people to hate me at work. I'm out the city. I think the city is hell. And if you survive the city, you're good to go. Now I get to live outside in the suburbs, enjoying life. And I want to keep pushing, hopefully get more and more subscribers, get more views, get more thumbs up. So far, last year I made $200 for an entire year of work. Hey, let's celebrate the little things with the goal of at least making $200 a month. Woo! That'll be amazing. All right, I'm going to go cook on my air fryer. That's the best I can do. Let me get on my little scooter and head over there. With that said, see you in the next video. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. What am I doing? I'm going to get myself a new mic.